Hello, friends and family, and welcome to the 2023 Waco Annual Charity Open, presented by Prodigy. We are here at the Brazos East Park, and this is the second stop of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Holly Finley.
Joined by Connor O'Reilly, and today Waco showed that wailing wind that we much know it for, and got a lot of strong gusts today, but other than that, the conditions were nice temperature-wise, probably somewhere in the upper 60s for these ladies this morning.
And because it's Saturday, boy, did the spectators show up. We had crowds everywhere, just lining the fairways. It was a beautiful sight to see. Let's check out our players first. We have Ananda, her first full year out on the tour, sponsored by Westside Discs. And next we have Steen, her first full year in the US on tour from Norway. She's sponsored by Guru Discs.
Then we have Stephanie Vincent, sponsored by Mint Discs.
A Texas native.
And rounding out the card, we saw her play yesterday as well, Paige Shue. Look for some more big putts out of her.
Here we are, hole one, coming in at 291 feet, a par 3. The drive has to go over this out-of-bounds area you can see indicated with the white line. The out-of-bounds continues all around the basket, sidewalk on the left, paywall on the right. It's easy to hyzer if you don't commit to this shot and go OB left. If you really want to commit to this first shot, it's slightly downhill, so it's easy just to coast all the way there. Hopefully get yourself a birdie putt and start the round off strong.
For your 904 tee time from Spokane Valley, Washington, Ananda.
And yeah, this course in the Open is so wind dependent. You'd see a lot of the hole averages today played quite a bit different than day one because we had a different wind and a stronger wind. And that's a bit late. That tree is hard to get through and going to be a manageable upshot for Sai.
For your 904 tee time from Norway, Steen.
Anniken is a left-handed player, fresh on the tour from Norway, and she's shown a lot of promise already.
A little low, but it should be a fairly easy up and down.
And third in the order for your 904 tee time from Austin, Texas, Stephanie Vincent.
Vincent, no stranger to these Texas winds. Really excited to see how she plays today. Throwing an Apex Alpha off the tee. She'll have a putt for birdie.
And rounding out the card for your 904 tee time from Charlotte, North Carolina, Paige Shue.
Paige electing for that straight shot as well. Most likely that Undertaker.
Clips the twig, but not much harm done. She's inside the circle, putting for birdie.
I don't know, is that enough of a redirect to call for Champ Love?
I'd say so, yeah. I've played with Sai a lot at the Beaver Fling and tournaments in the Pacific Northwest. That's the area she's from. Unfortunately, she sends her upshot out of bounds over that PDGA paywall.
Yeah, awkward having to go to the standstill there. And playing this early in the morning down here in the river. Oh my goodness.
Wow! Look at that! A run back on hole one. Ananda just cashing it in from 60 feet.
No jump necessary. That was impressive.
Look at that smile. Love to see it.
What an adventurous hole to start. But yeah, down here next to the river early in the morning, that grass stays wet, so your discs are gonna definitely be getting dewy, and that's an unfortunate miss from Paige there.
Stephanie Vincent from the knee for birdie on hole 1. Oh, a little low, hits the front of the cage. She'll have a drop in par. Hate to let that one slip away from you. And Anakin told me that just today she changed her putter from the Pure Zero medium plastic to the Pure Zero hard plastic. And she just decided at the very last minute in warm-up, she said the grip wasn't feeling right. She thought switching over to that hard plastic was a better decision for today.
I feel like a lot of those European players come over to the warmth that we have, especially down here in Texas, and feel like that plastic that usually feels stiff when it's sub 60 degrees, maybe starting to feel a little bit too gummy for them. Hole 2 is a par 4, and like we assumed yesterday, into the headwind today, it played 0.4 strokes harder. This one is really all about placing your drive anywhere here in the middle, depending on the lane you want to take, but there is this big gap to the left. Most players are going to take a left to right moving shot into the green. Ideally, you can get left enough to where you can just throw it kind of straight into that green, but this one is elevated, so you want to put it close.
Anakin up first. It's a little low, but you know, it's easy enough to get a birdie from there. Stephanie Vincent throwing an apex goat off the tee. She gets a nice amount of air underneath it, and that's a good looking shot. Shue sending the nuke right down the fairway to the ideal landing position. I think that's probably the most common landing position on this hole.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see whether she takes that straight backhand or goes with the forehand we saw her scramble with a bit round one. And this is going to be a similar spot to Shue. A little bit extra spin.
With the longest drive of all. She's got that sneaky distance.
Yeah, I mean, she showed the power on the putt on hole 1, so you got to think it translates into throwing as well.
Look at this beautiful shot.
Yeah, what a true line the whole way.
Incredible. She threw a latitude musket for that. Stephanie Vincent's second shot with her Mustang. She leaves a little bit of meat on the bone. You'd like to get a little closer and get a birdie putt at this.
Yeah, this one typically plays in that easier third of the track. Paige going with that slightly drifting challenger shot, and looks like it's just fading out and slithers out of bounds. That's a unfortunate error from a pretty simple position. Maybe a comet.
Zone.
Wow. Impressive. She tried to go with a turnover stable disc, but maybe that's a straighter zone for her usually.
Look at this straight shooter. I love that shot too.
Ooh, Paige going to that kind of slightly turned sideways half throw she'll do from those longer ranges, and that was a good confident bid in the crosswind. Gave it the height, just didn't drop.
There it is. Yeah, her putt's looking really solid here at the start of the round.
Anakin played that one very textbook. That was a very clean approach into this elevated basket.
Stephanie Vincent getting her par. Sai tapping in the birdie here on the second.
We're going to see Anakin moving to 1 down on the round. Let's see how they play hole 3.
putting for eagle. Eagle! Huge make! Incredible. That was.
Here we are, hole 3, par 3, 320 feet. If you didn't watch the coverage from yesterday, we'll tell you again, we've got some new little trees here. You can see these tiny, skinny, naked guys. They got some fresh mulch around them, right in the right-hand backhand flight path. You can also just send a straight shot right at it. It plays slightly uphill and it feels a little longer than 320. Coming in at one of the easier holes, I feel like this is one of those birdies you don't want to let slip away from you. And hopefully it's not windy when you get up there to putt. Anakin up first. Man, I love seeing a lefty play this course. That turns over a bit. Should be a fairly simple par putt from there.
Yeah, like you said, this one probably plays more in that 345 to 350 range, just the way you have to get the nose up on the disc power-wise, and Sai showing that power, and you got maybe just inside the circle, depending on if she marks her disc or not.
Stephanie Vincent with a nice looking hyzer. She gets her goat to about 50 feet from the basket.
This line looks perfect.
And Shue had a perfect shot here yesterday and another perfect shot today. Yeah, show us the run back. AQ Flight Factory.
Pretty sure she caught some of that stanchion there on this elevated basket and hit that weighing angle perfect. Yeah, it might have clipped the edge of that OTB Discs elevated pin.
Scorch doing work out there.
Anakin most likely looking to lay this one up. Yeah, that's a scary wind with the downslope behind.
This will be my first time seeing Anakin play, so really like her style so far. Very spinny, direct, straight lines.
Yeah, seems like she has the power to get into those scoring landing zones, and let's see how that putt is able to drop as we continue to go.
Sai doesn't quite connect with her birdie putt, but Paige Shue does.
See some squirrels having a little tussle in the background there.
I wonder if they bought spectator tickets.
They got that VIP seating right now. I don't know. They're getting by free, I think.
I don't know, it could be that 3-day VIP pass. I think that gets you close to inside the ropes.
In that spot Sai was on, it can be tricky because while you are inside the circle, you have a bit of a downslope with your footing, so it's hard to get the weight transfer off your back leg, especially if you like to putt with a stagger stance. In hole 4, one of the signatures in my mind at 441 feet. I kind of wish they would have made it 3 feet longer at that 444, but we can talk about it next year, Ryan. And you really want to get out here, clear this big trunk on the right there. That'll give you a window into this green. You want to land gently, probably circle's edge short to slide up a little bit. You do not want to air this one long, as the Brazos River will gobble you up down there to the right. This one played 0.75 strokes over par today, so let's see if we can get some birdies and mitigate the bad stuff here.
Shue up first with a comet off the tee, and she gets a lucky kick right off that left edge, and she's perfectly in the fairway. Anakin with that TL3 sidearm off the tee, and it worked out great for her.
Yeah, pretty fortunate to catch that tree and not slide a little bit further. Just too nosy there from Sai.
Vincent with a nocturnal bullet. Another perfect tee shot. And from here, you can choose to be aggressive or just play another layup. It depends on how you're feeling. You know, if you've got that sort of shot shaping ability, a lot of times players just don't feel comfortable with that blind shot, that tight turn, and they'll just play right to that bend and then pitch it up and take the 4.
Yeah, Anakin shows that she has trust in her abilities and her firepower, but ends up kind of in the spot you would lay up to, so no harm, no foul.
Looked like Paige was trying to get all the way to the green, just didn't quite hit the line. But she's in a great position nevertheless.
Yeah, fortunate not to get sucked in by that wall of trees on the right. The timing of this shot can be really tricky. You got to give it some height and enough turn. And yeah, it just gets knocked down by some of those crossbars.
Stephanie throws a Stingray as her turnover shot, and Mint Discs, her sponsor, does allow her to have an open bag, so she can choose a couple of different molds from various manufacturers that work best for her game.
It seems like Anakin has an open bag as well, playing for Guru, and interesting to see if she'll... Alright, I think she is in a long-term deal with them in terms of a full year.
Yeah, she just signed a 5-year deal with Guru
Wow,
Discs.
that's amazing. The open bag is really starting to take fruition in our game, I feel like, and players are starting to take advantage of being able to work with multiple companies and have multiple Tour Series discs.
David Feldberg said it years ago. He was the first one. He said the open bag is the way of the future.
Yeah, I think as the players start to get more power in this game, they're really going to consider all the options they have that are best for them, and manufacturers will still maintain a good amount of power, but the players will take a little bit.
Strong putt from Anakin. She takes the par here on the 4th, and I just love her hairstyle. It's like 2 twists.
The double braid.
Is it braids or twists? I need another shot. Side does not connect with that putt.
Yeah, you really got to get into the middle ladder of these baskets. They don't really like the outside putts very much.
Sai will walk away with a 6 on the 4th. Shue
cleans up that par.
As does Stephanie Vincent.
Yeah, no birdies there on the 4th, showing it can be tricky. It takes 2 accurate shots.
Let's check out hole 5, 264 feet, par 3. This plays uphill. The trouble's left and right, and also the ceiling. A lot of these twigs do not have leaves on them. They kind of hide in the sunlight. It's easy to throw your shot too high and get smacked down. It's really easy to also just early release or crank it over too far right. Really, if you can get a perfect shot, you can hit this hill early and skid up to the basket. You don't want to go too far. There's also trouble and hard to putt from back there. Shue up first.
Oh, that's a great reaction. Usually hitting that far left does not net you inside the circle, but that one, she hit a nice dry spot or a root or something.
I'm calling it champ love.
It's one of those courses you're going to have a lot of instances where you can call it that because those trees are waiting, no matter how good you throw it. And that is
throwing
beautiful.
the escape. Wasn't that a nice shot? Wow.
Almost flashed the right side of that basket.
Vincent up there on the high top putting for birdie.
Sai gets some nice pop on this one. Plays an overstable disc and it skips into the koozie.
A felon off the koozie.
She went with the flex shot here. That shows how much power Sai has. A lot of players are playing hyzer flip here, and she went with the flex overstable. Check the run back. Presented by Flight Factory. That orbit felon almost jumps up and gets the nose up enough for a chain ace for you guys. Wow, that would have been incredible.
Sai aced hole 1 at the Las Vegas Challenge. Paige Shue does not connect with that putt. She'll have a fairly meaty comeback. No thing for a world champ. She'll take a par here on the 5th.
I'm still stuck on that shot selection. I don't see many players play that here, and to play it so well was impressive. And again, kind of an awkward little stance over here, but taking her time.
Way to capture a birdie.
There's some putts on this course where you got vines and branches all in your way, and you got to do some twister almost.
Great birdie putt from Stephanie Vincent. She putts with a bullet. And Sai, she doesn't even need to take off her bag. A real drop in. That's a bullseye hit, ladies and gentlemen. Count it.
This looks perfect. Off the basket. Now it's rolling. It's headed for the OB. This needs to sit. Oh my goodness. It's safe. Right on the line. She's going to have about a 30-foot putt for the win. Okay, here we go. The putt is up. Boom. It's in. Strong side with authority. What an incredible moment. Yes.
Hole 6 is a fun one to throw. At 267 feet, you gotta penetrate this gap straight ahead of us, give it enough height, and choose the right disc that'll drift slowly right in the second half of the flight. Just to give you guys an idea of how thick these woods are back here, a lot of those open holes, you heard how much they were swinging in stroke separation from day 1 to day 2 based off the wind, and this hole and the hole before only changed by 7/100ths of a stroke, pretty much showing that the wind almost doesn't even affect them at all, just kind of based off how the players play it that day.
Anakin up first.
Ooh.
She gets caught up about halfway down the fairway.
She hit that cut vine over there. You can see it swinging, and it definitely grabbed her back to a good spot. If that kicks left, it gets nasty fast.
And just a rule for you guys, you cannot remove a vine even if it's in your arm swinging path. That does not count. It has to be in the footing in front of you, and annoying is not a legal way to move a vine.
That's a good thing to note, because honestly I wasn't even quite sure about that. I've never really tried to move anything in front of me, my airspace, but yeah, I was well aware of the on the ground. It's good to note though.
Sai Ananda gets caught up about halfway, and Paige Shue kicks over to the left. It's going to be a scramble game here on the 6th. Ananda with a beautiful turnover shot. And her turnover game is just spectacular. Just love the finesse she's got, as well as just like sneaky raw distance.
Yeah, she's showing to have a good arsenal of shots.
Stephanie does not execute a lot of forehands. I'd say she's primarily a backhand player, probably like 90-10. But I've seen her start to work on that. It's really coming around here in the last couple of years.
And Paige has shown that she's really familiarized herself with the forehand.
Right? I was super impressed last season and then yesterday watching a lot of her scramble shots.
Again, just looking for that hyzer jump putt. Just slide it up there. There are some nasty spots just along. There's a pretty bushy guy that you got to avoid, and then down to the right there's some thick stuff, so you don't want to be anywhere but the bullseye for par here.
Vincent does not connect with her par putt. She will have about a 20-foot bogey putt. That was a little nose down from Shue. Let's see if Vincent can connect with this bogey, and that she does. Stephanie Vincent, it's also her first full year on tour. It's amazing our sport has grown so much that women can come over from Norway. Women are, resigning from their jobs, selling their homes, leasing out their homes so they can come on tour full time. Living the dream.
Yeah, great to see the growth of the sport on the FPO and the MPO side. It's really blooming. We thought last year was big, but this year is just 1.5 times.
Here we are on hole 7, a par 4, coming in at 429 feet. We have that Mando tree on the left. Really, it's important to just make it out of this tunnel. Land anywhere on this beautiful green carpety grass. Get yourself an open look into the basket. This is a simple 3 as long as you get out of that tunnel. If you have a really killer drive, you might even have an eagle putt. Hoping to see one of those today. Annika Steen up first. Ooh, nice shot shape. She makes it out of the tunnel, and that's in a great position to execute for a birdie chance. Sai does not make it out of the tunnel, but she still has a gap to work with. It looks like it could be parable from her area.
Oh, and that was a good redirect off of those branches and definitely birdieable position.
It was looking a little early left, but turns out to be an incredible shot. And the more left you get, the more hyzer your upshot is. But I can't say, there's anything wrong with that, as long as you're comfortable with, hyzers.
As long as you're at least 20 to 30 feet short of that wall of trees there, you can definitely work that angle and swing the hyzer in cleanly. Another standstill turnaround from Sai. Getting down into a pretty nasty spot. She's most likely just pitching up for a par from there.
Like you said, if you end up in those woods, it's kind of tough to work with. Sometimes it's better even to maybe land short of them. Look how the wind's just picking up right now.
Yeah, well, this one, that tee shot is pretty wooded. There's a little bit of exposure here, so definitely affects it more than some of this middle stretch of the course.
That's going to be a scary putt.
Yeah, you don't often see players air this one too long. Usually that backstop collects most discs pretty close here.
And Paige with the longest drive of all, and she is up there putting for birdie.
Yeah, she hit that gap very cleanly on this deep hyzer and got some nice gentle ground play, just pretty much sit where it landed. And you can see that puddle out there in front of Sai is casual, so it has grown with some overnight rain.
Sai sends her third shot up to the basket, and she has about a 5-footer. That'll be an easy par.
Anakin got to the front side of that pond, looked like, fortunately.
Wow.
So maybe skipped out of the water.
Yeah, that was nice. Ooh. Takes a lot of courage to send that one full speed.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was
Couldn't tell
going
if it was
for
a
that
layup
or
or
if
not,
she was
yeah.
laying. I just couldn't tell. This is Shue for birdie. And she gets it.
There you go. Nice flat nose angle on that one. Yeah, this course is just so unique. There's so many holes that you just don't really see anything quite like it on the tour, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's very scoreable, but it's also very scary at times.
Vincent with a drop-in par. As we move on to the 8.
Hole 8, a tunnel shot. It's going to be the tightest shot on the course, but also the shortest. The ceiling right up front of the tee is really starting to get some leaves, and it feels tighter and tighter each day. And this gap right here you see is about 8 or 9 feet across. It's really the spot that you got to test. You want to land this one about 25 short and just slide it up into that dirt pit. You do not want to air this one down to the right, as there are some spots that'll be really hard to putt from.
Shue up first.
This looks great.
Steady off the tee. Slides past the basket, and she'll have about a 6-footer at it. Wow, that was incredible.
That was almost the exact shot we saw Katrina play yesterday, I feel like.
Yes, it was. Steen with a compass, a little bit past the basket, hits that tree. What a great position.
That was fortunate, because she
8
30
feet
long there, and there's not much.
Sai has maybe a 50-footer at it.
Maybe Anakin just feels, with the low ceiling, that mid-range helps her just get it up there and slide it up.
I like the mid here because of the low ceiling, but
Yeah.
I have to remember to aim early and sort of slide to the basket.
Yeah, us
Otherwise, you just-
tall people feel extra big on this teapot. I feel like.
You're right. I thought Sai was about to show us another long one like she did on hole 1. She rolls down a bit, but I don't think that's anything she can handle. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. No biggie. Steen for her birdie. She gets it.
Ooh, left side dropped her in. Those ones are nerve-inducing, but always relieving when they drop, especially for birdie.
Shue gets the birdie as well here on the 8th.
Yeah, she played that one textbook. Heiser with the understable putter that drifted just to flat, maybe a touch of Annie, landed flat, scooted up. Two pars, 2 birdies on the 8th.
Hole 9, our first par 5 at 519 feet. You've got that first branch that hangs over, low ceiling you've got to deal with, and these middle trees, perfect spot to aim for. Hopefully if you have a killer drive, you can crest over this hill and land down here on the flats. That'll give you a clean upshot into the green and maybe even an eagle chance. It's not impossible here. I'd say a birdie is fairly simple. Par 5's kind of generous. It sort of gives you one mess-up shot. But really, you want to get a clean shot off of the tee in order to get a birdie chance here. Shue up first. Ooh, gives the ceiling a haircut. Perfect tunnel drive.
It was that body English, the duck. It got her under the breath.
All the way to the flats. I love being downstairs like that. It's just the perfect position.
One of the hardest parts about this tee shot can be you really can find such a rhythm on those first 8 holes out here, and there's almost always a backup on this one, making you have to wait longer than you have all round, and it can make that tee shot tricky, especially sometimes if you're the first one to throw it. But this hole did get easier, as we mentioned yesterday, with the tree that Stephanie just flew kind of next to, that stump. It used to be very punishing.
She's choosing the Stingray off the tee, just more of a positioning shot than going for distance.
From here, Anakin just most likely looking to get down into that little gap. Trying to do too much from that position just doesn't really grant you too many rewards. That was smart.
Sai places her second shot right into the flat area, and she's in prime position. Stephanie's Stingray doesn't quite hit the gap as intended, but she still has a couple of strokes to work with. Oh my gosh, look at this
Paige
champ love
really
again.
Okay, this one, there's no questions,
Come
you guys.
on,
There's
Paige.
no questions there.
Come on. Did you see that ricochet?
Oh, wow. There could have went bad multiple times, and instead it just...
Oh, I wish we could get a replay.
She gets to smile after a pure tee shot and then gets very fortunate, and she's going to have a chance at birdie. Or, sorry, eagle, the
Yes,
big bird. The
yes.
big bird.
A Schmeagle. I can't wait to see what happens. All right, we've got... Sai got caught up with her upshot. This is Anakin's third shot.
We haven't really seen a forehand out of her yet, I don't know, so Definitely a little bit too nosy there. I think this one tricks you into wanting to float it in, where sometimes it's good just to get to that hill and try to jump over and test the roots.
Vincent trying to take out the cameraman. Vincent has a really good turnover game as well.
Sai slips through that left side, and that's going to be a very nice 20-footer up at the basket. This is a good putt to be a left-handed player on.
Isn't it, though?
Anakin just taking it simple and understands that she doesn't want to do too much right now. She has a solid round going, and it's clean.
Shue for eagle.
Let's
go. Run it back, Flight Factory. Paige Shue cashing in the Schmeagle putt.
Paige once again showing you guys that you got to take advantage of all those breaks on the course, and yeah, it's awesome to see. Ooh, Sai just having to go to that straddle with the bit of a slope that's down there. This camera angle doesn't show you guys how steep this green actually is. It just caused her to pull that one right.
Great putt from Stephanie Vincent.
Anakin coming through the front nine with that clean round. She's looking solid, playing some mature golf. Paige finishing off with that big eagle. That was very exciting. And
look at the blue square.
Let's go.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's check out this leaderboard. And right now, after the front nine of day 2, Owen Scoggins in the lead. Anakin sharing that lead along with Kristen Tatar. World champ Paige Shue tied with Ella Hansen, a known distance thrower. A couple of other names that you might be familiar with. If you haven't checked out yesterday's coverage, go do that now. Also, we'd love to see you on the back nine. And, if you have some extra time, check out Instagram, O'Finale Finley. Maybe grab one of my Innova Tour Series Mako 3s off the Innova Factory store.
And keep an eye out for my Tour Series Rivers coming hopefully about a month from now. You can go follow me on Instagram and on YouTube. We'll see you out there.